I'm Jason Armstrong. As the owner of Dream Vacations, I recognize the benefits of travel. Experiencing other cultures and destinations expands your worldview. It deepens your appreciation of people and cultures different than your own, and it gives you a global perspective. But I'm also an ordained pastor, and I know firsthand the value of visiting the lands of the Bible. It's helped my faith come alive. It's provided context for the stories and events recorded in Scripture. Exploring ancient cities gives a timeless perspective to history and how God has and continues to work through cultures, languages, and borders. This is why I invite you to join me for an incredible faith shaping cruise through the lands of the Bible. This 14-night cruise begins October 25th, 2020, and will allow you to walk in the footsteps of Jesus, journey like the Apostle Paul, and experience firsthand the places you've only read about in the Bible. Our trip offers incredible value as so much is included, such as your accommodations, meals, essential tours, and travel throughout 4 countries. We'll board the luxurious Norwegian Star cruise ship in Piraeus, the port for Athens, Greece. This floating resort means you will visit 4 countries throughout the eastern Mediterranean, but only have to unpack once. Settle into your comfortable cabin as we sail away. Our first port of call is Crete, the largest of the Greek isles, and where Paul stopped as he was being transported as a prisoner to Rome. Today, Crete is one of the most popular travel destinations of the Mediterranean. In the long history of the island, a multitude of different cultures and conquerors have passed through. As a result, present-day Crete has a high level of historical, archaeological, and cultural points of interest. Next, we'll enjoy 3 days in Israel, where tours of the must-see sites are included for our group. We'll view Jerusalem from the top of the Mount of Olives, walk through the Garden of Gethsemane where Jesus himself prayed before his arrest. We'll then walk through the Old City with its narrow alleys and colorful markets along the Via Dolorosa to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, believed to sit on the hill of Calvary where Jesus was crucified and buried. We'll reflect at the Western Wall, today's holiest site for Jews, as the only remaining portion of the Second Jerusalem Temple. Next, we'll travel 5 miles south to the town of Bethlehem, a trip made by the wise men as they followed the star. Bethlehem was the birthplace of David and, of course, Jesus. Step inside the Church of the Nativity, one of the oldest continually operating churches in the world. The structure is built over the cave that tradition marks as the birthplace of Jesus. The next day, our ship will be in Haifa, Israel, the perfect point from which to explore Nazareth and Galilee. Our private tour will follow the life of Jesus from the Basilica of the Annunciation in Nazareth, which marks Mary's childhood home, and the nearby Church of St. Joseph, believed to be built on the location of Joseph's workshop. We pass Cana, the site of Jesus' first miracle, before exploring the Galilee region, including Tabgha, where the 5,000 were fed, and the remarkable ruins of Capernaum, the home of Peter, Andrew, James, John, and Matthew. The day ends with a stop at the Jordan River, where you may choose to reaffirm your baptism, even as Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. Our third day in Israel will begin with views of Mount Carmel, where the prophets of Baal were defeated. We'll then visit the ancient port city of Caesarea, built by Herod the Great. Here Paul was imprisoned, and centuries later, Caesarea was an important Christian center that was alternatively conquered by Muslims and Crusaders until it was destroyed at the end of the 13th century. We'll see the impressive Roman theater, hippodrome, and remains of Herod's palace. Our journey continues along the same routes that the Apostle Paul traveled as he planted churches among the Gentiles. We'll visit Cyprus. 10 different cultures have ruled the island over 27 centuries. Travelers today are enchanted with Cyprus's rich history, golden beaches, citrus orchards, and delightful urban areas. Explore at your own pace. Then it's on to Turkey with a port day in Alanya. Paul worked throughout this region. His letter to the Colossians was intended for believers in the nearby city of Colossae and the surrounding Lycus River Valley. You may choose to explore the history or enjoy the Mediterranean resort community. The Greek Isle of Rhodes has an international reputation for the charming medieval town, the irresistible valley of the butterflies, and the long golden sand beaches. You might want to visit the Old Town with its museums, churches, and fortress walls. In the port of Kusadasi, our group will enjoy a private tour of Paul's Ephesus. We'll explore the great theater where Paul preached that gods made by human hands are not gods at all, which, of course, provoked a violent uprising. Legend has it that John brought Mary, the mother of Jesus, to Ephesus. We'll visit the remains of the Church of Mary. We'll have lunch and then witness what remains of the Temple of Artemis and the Basilica of St. John, which some believe marks the grave of the Apostle John. The Turkish island of Bozkada was mentioned in the Iliad and the Aeneid. It's also where the Greeks hid their fleet near the end of the Trojan War in order to trick the Trojans into believing that the war was over and into taking the Trojan horse into their city walls. Nearby is Troas, visited several times by Paul on his missionary journeys. It was here that God gave Paul a vision of a man in Macedonia begging him for help. God used the city as a launching area from which his truth began to spread to the European continent. It was later in Troas where young Eutychus fell from a third-story window after dozing off during Paul's lengthy sermon. Paul rushed outside, embraced him, and he was restored to life. Our final stop in Turkey is in Istanbul, where Europe and Asia meet. Take a step back in time as you explore buildings that have withstood the test of time. You might want to learn more about Hagia Sophia, the Blue Mosque, or sample some Turkish coffee. Nearing the end of our cruise, enjoy a day in Mykonos, the Greek isle that blossomed as a tourist destination in the 60s and 70s. The island featured prominently in Greek mythology and was first settled in the 11th century BC. You may want to check out the archaeological sites, museums, shops, or even try scuba diving. We arrived back in Athens on November 8th with a lifetime of memories and a faith enriched because you've experienced the lands of the Bible. Most flights to North America leave Athens early in the morning, so you'll probably need to spend the night. And you may want to take advantage of our post-cruise Athens package. This includes full-day access to a hop-on, hop-off bus with historical commentary and city tour. You can explore at your own pace in this fascinating city with its rich historical and biblical significance. Visit Mars Hill, the Roman Agora, the Acropolis with the Parthenon, even the stadium where the first modern Olympics were hosted more than a century ago. The package includes a comfortable hotel stay and transportation to the airport on November 9th for your flight home. The Holy Land Cruise package is a tremendous value with all that's included: accommodations, delicious onboard dining, and stunning entertainment, 3 full days of touring in Israel, and a full-day tour of Paul's Ephesus. Also, the opportunity to visit numerous other amazing ports at your own pace. You'll also receive a pre-cruise Bible study guide to help you understand the context and significance of the sites that you'll experience. Plus, as part of a group of believers, you'll have the opportunity for fellowship and going deeper in your faith. If you've taken a cruise vacation before, you know that there's options for every budget. While we'll all enjoy the same great meals, entertainment, and tours, select the cabin type that best meets your needs. And with early bird savings, when you register before December 31st, prices start at just $19.49 per person. Just a $500 deposit holds your reservation with a convenient payment schedule. I strongly suggest that you consider the travel protection insurance. It's one of those things you hope you don't need, but if an emergency arises, you'll be glad it's there. Plus, just for those in our group, you can select from some exciting bonuses. If you're in an interior cabin, you can pick any two of the bonuses from Group A or two from Group B. If you select an ocean view or balcony cabin, though, you get all four generous bonuses in either Group A or Group B. You decide which you would most enjoy. Space is limited, so reserve your spot on this incredible journey today. Bring the whole family, your Sunday school class or small group. Pastors, call me for information on additional benefits when you join folks from your church on this Holy Land cruise. For additional information and to register, go to holylandcruise.info or call 509-720-6984. I look forward to exploring the lands of the Bible with you.